Hello. Welcome to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for anyone that lands on it. I'm also going to do a reading first for my winner, Kelly. So you may resonate with it, you may not. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed, flip it, switch it, twist it. Always interpret the message as the best resonates with you. I know you know the deal. And if you're new to my channel, know I like to go in deep to my reading. So I like to look at everything. We look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and we see how they play out as karmic themes within your experiences. Now, very important if you want to enter into winning free reading with me. You have to be open to getting a shadow reading. Number one, you have to like the video. Number two, subscribe to the channel. Number three, and again, write the word of the video. The word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out. Hey, Kelly, I am so glad that we finally caught up. I know that I've been really kind of flaky, but it's been, I was saying, Scorpios, we're very emotional. We're just very emotional people. And it's like, and we have very, like, and so be grounded is really difficult when you have strong emotions. Scorpios have very strong emotions. They can manifest what they want very easily. Now you might be like, no, I don't believe that. Well, again, if you don't care about the situation, you'll manifest it because again, your emotions are just regular, but they're a steady and a high vibe. But if you have a spiritual block, and I feel like you do around your like relationships, then what happens is that those emotions tend to fluctuate. And so when emotions fluctuate, it's hard for us to stay grounded. Still going to get, oh, we did listen. They're like, oh, I think I have asked a few people if they wanted it, and no one ever cashes in. And then poor Kelly over here, went back and forth with her because I have a lot going on. So just bear with. Let's take a peek first for Kelly, and then if you stick around and I have time, maybe I'll be able to do a reading for you as well, or I can do your reading tomorrow. Something I actually have to drop off dog diapers. I dog sitted last week, and the person that I dog sitted for is a Virgo. And she's a typical Virgo. I'm a Virgo too, but I am not a typical Virgo. I'm all Scorpio. All my underneath signs are Scorpio. And I am on the cusp. Oh, good. I'm glad that you bought a new phone so you'll be able to get your reading. So let's take a peek at, this is Kelly's reading right now. So though you may resonate with it, it's not uncommon for you to, again, wind up and resonate with somebody else's reading. Again, we're magnets of who and what come into our life. And understand there's only certain amount of spiritual blocks people have. And just so everybody knows, spiritual blocks are psychological and emotional blocks. We're in physical form to learn and to manifest. We manifest through the thoughts that we think, the emotions that we have. So when we have shadows, it's again, it comes out in our behaviorisms. When we're dealing with a person that has shadows, obviously it comes out in their behaviorisms. And if it's a soul relationship, that shit's going to trigger you. It's just the way that it goes, because spirit uses our relationships to create awareness for ourselves. It creates our experiences to create awareness. Now you might be like, what the fuck awareness? Well, the awareness is, there's the illusion that we're separate from God, and that's unconditional love, right? And that's the same energy as the universe, though we wouldn't know what that energy was because we're all born into situations and date people. And so we form these behaviorisms and habits based on the environment. So when we have spiritual blocks, we have to integrate them in order to see a different perception of our situation and ourselves. That's what healing is all about, because there's many different realities that play it at one time. Your level of consciousness will determine what happens. That's why my readings are longer, because I don't just say yes or no, because you wouldn't like that reading. You already know if it's shit. You don't need me to tell you that it's shit. You want to know why it's shit. You want to know how you're contributing to it. And you want to know if you can shape shift the situation, whether it's possible to shape shift the situation. And if it's karmic, it is a lot of times, believe it or not. You might not want to deal with it by the time that you figure that out, though, because by the time that we figure out, a lot of times we're like, fuck it, I can't deal with it. So again, the readings are a little bit longer because there's a lot of education in between to help you understand. All right. The energy is nostalgia. So I feel like you're in separation from somebody, and if you're not in separation with somebody, it's again, they're remembering good times. They remember what the good old times. Thank you, Kay. So, I mean, that, well, that's the thing. It's like you have a lot of positive energy. It's not that you don't. It's like, but relationships, I feel like you're a highly sensitive person, and highly sensitive people that have been wounded, they tend to unconsciously look for, the same types of behaviorisms, so like that have hurt them, sabotaging behaviorisms that it's like, if you're dealing with a cheater, you can't help but in your next relationship that you go into to look for certain things because of what happened to you. Problem is that we see what we look for. And so until you integrate the spiritual lesson and really realize what you're doing. So somebody's stuck in nostalgia, but however, I don't really feel that they had a great thing, or they didn't treat you well. I feel like they didn't treat you well when they actually had you. And so, but they're in a place of, again, nostalgia, because that's what happens when you have a soulmate. When you're in separation, you feel that unconditional love. You feel that connection. Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what it's showing. It's showing that he didn't treat you well. But understand, when people have blocks, they tend to remember what they want to remember, especially if they have a little bit of narcissistic energy. So it's like, and that's the feeling, because understand, spiritual connection is through the heart and mind. We're only in physical form to learn and to manifest. However, this is a past life karmic mate that hasn't learned, that doesn't really want to learn. And that's what you know, but they want you. So that's how you know it's, so it doesn't mean that the person doesn't care. It means that the person a lot of times doesn't know how to heal. They don't know, they don't trust themselves, because they know every single type of relationship they get bored, or everything triggers them, or that they, again, just are, when they're in the relationship, they're not really in the relationship, meaning they're there, but mentally, emotionally, they're not there. And that's what you felt a lot of times. You were like, are you present? And you took it like, this is my shit. Like, you're making me feel like there's something wrong with me, where really Spirit says that's again their trigger, but that's truthfully what they feel about themselves. So there was a lot of projection that went on in your relationship, which would, by the way, keep you really upside down, really keep you like in a place of fear. But you gave a lot. So it understands to me why this person's in nostalgia, because they're remembering everything that you did. They're up in their head in fantasy land. And I feel like when you were with them, a lot of times this person would talk to other people, and they were in fantasy land. So they're more comfortable it not really being present. So they have a major intimacy issue is what I'm feeling. So I don't know if I want to pull another card from here. Shame. And we know that. It's, again, this person has the spiritual block of shame. So we need to take that into consideration, because why did you attract a person that, again, has shame? Is that they don't like themselves. I feel like they grew up in an environment that kind of was not really. I feel like the one parent was not supportive. The other parent was super ass spoiled, like spoiled this person to compensate for the bad relationship. So you were dealing with somebody that was very spoiled, but had very low confidence. And they had low confidence because I feel like their father either didn't treat them well, or there was a lot of trauma around that. And the mother, like you said, tried to overcompensate to fix that. So this person doesn't really want to grow up, is what we see, because they got comfortable. They never really had to. And they have major trust issues because they were raised by someone that didn't didn't make them feel safe. Now, you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So we take a look at your childhood. And so I feel like your childhood is pretty much the same. Like you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. Only you learned how to deal with it in a different way. You learned how to be the giver, the lover, the fixer, like the person that always shows up, the person that's always responsible, the person that. So it's again, we see the paradoxical energy that's opposite, where opposites attract. No, it's not really opposites attract. I mean, they do attract, but I don't think that that's what people look at. So so if his mom passed away in an early age, that's it's again, then whoever took that place overcompensated overcompensated for that. Yeah, if you understand what I'm saying, like because there wasn't, it's like something traumatic happened. So it's like this person didn't need to grow up, is what I'm trying to say, because of what happened. Well, that's what I'm saying. You were very nurturing. You were very loving. You were very kind. You were very, like, again, the giver. So in that, what happened is that this person saw all the qualities that you are, because you are a good package. You don't feel like you're a good package. They could tell that you didn't feel like you were a good package, because again, this person is suave. Like I feel like they tend to they be they can get by with their looks. They can get by, if you're getting what I'm saying, like that's their strength. So they're suave. And so they were able to read you and be like, again, see that you were a very good catch and that you would be nurturing. And so that's sign number one when a person is looking to see what they can get out of a relationship. They're not saying, oh, you're someone that I'd like to get to know. That's what I'm saying, the player. And that's because of the way that he was raised. Like I said, when you never really grow up. And that could be also the mother died, father got into another relationship, father was never really that nice. There's a avoidant issue. No one really raised this kid. It's like, so in that, it's like he did whatever he wanted to do, is what we say where it came from and where the inadequacy came from. The reason why I do that, by the way, is to overrun, because your analytical reptilian mind, the logic part of your mind, because your mind is going to remember the good parts. That's why when you're like, why am I still thinking about this asshole that treated me horribly? Well, it's again because your mind, you're the emotional part of your mind, which is that right brain. It says it's part of the subconscious mind, and it says, I that's important. This is important. You can't just let go of emotional love. Emotional love is seen as support, right? Emotional support. So it's better than nothing. Just the same way as seeing yourself as defective is better than seeing yourself as dead. So the person that, again, the mind does that. It says, well, take the lesser of the evil. But the problem is that when a person has trauma, they can't really navigate their life. And the thing is, and then you're like connected to this person that because of the way that they were, that they would turn it on, they would turn it off, that they would turn it on. You don't realize that when you're in a relationship that that person's not giving you anything, the whole time you're giving them energy, because you're like, is everything okay? Is everything okay? And what happens is you feel like you're walking on eggshells because this person doesn't communicate, and they're moody as fuck because they have a lot of spiritual blocks. And so you're putting so much energy into the connection. That's why you really miss this person too, because you gave with all of your heart. Right. He was avoidant. That's what I said. He was like, so you were in a relationship with someone that was there, but they weren't there. And so you keep giving to this person. And so how big is the wound? The wound is always going to be how much you gave. And that means your time, your energy, your focus, and your money. So it's how much did you invest? So we can tell when a person's not really interested in us because they don't really invest. They come in a lot with the sexy talk, the sexy time, and they try to give you that passion. So that's where you went wrong, because again, you need to have other passions in your life, and that's not other people. It's things that you lose yourself in, because you can train a person like that right from the beginning. You show them what they're going, what is acceptable and what's not, and it's not through talking, it's through your actions. And that's what it is. Right, you don't, because you grew up the same way. Even though you didn't have a parent die, they were avoidant. So it's like there's a sense of, I didn't get that love. And so the way that you have to do it is you have to, again, create other passions for yourself. You need to fill up your cup so far that it overflows, that whoever comes into your life, they're just getting what it falls out of the cup. You always have to leave them wanting more, until you're like, get like a commitment, until like you feel emotionally safe. And for you, that would be a commitment. Other people, they don't need all that, but it's like for you, you're again a highly sensitive person. You like to feel safe. He didn't have that, so there's a sense of, I don't really know what that feels like. So that's a block automatically. You inherited that karma. And so then if you watched a bad relationship, then you didn't get that love and nurturing. Well, then you have a spiritual block in that second chakra, but you really have a block in the first chakra, and the first chakra is connected to the body. So spirit's like, you have to be present, you have to be in the moment, you have to have a better connection to your body. Take dancing classes. It's like, do something like, again, that's different. Connect with your body in different ways, because again, only in the now do you get divine guidance. You have a lot of anxiety around relationships because of this person. And even if this person comes back, because again, it wouldn't be uncommon, because again, this person ruminates and you feel this person's energy, because again, they do think about you. I know living in the moment is hard for you. That's because of the trauma. So you have to recondition what you created as a survival mechanism. Growing up in the environment that you grew up in will take you down later on. That's just the way. God says we're born into families that teach us. And they teach us through pain a lot, most of the time, unfortunately. And so you have to, again, learn how to be present in the moment. And that's by getting a better connection to the body, and passion and fun, because the second chakra is really your individuality, who you perceive you are when you look in the mirror and spirit says, I don't like how you look at yourself. I don't like that. It's like, again, because you feel like there's something wrong with you. And I don't make junk. God says, I don't, it's like, I don't, like, if you put your shirt on like a pair of pants, it's going to look fucked up. It's like, there's many different realities that play out at one time, meaning depending on what you do, and you keep doing the same thing, And it's so what happens is that's what happens with shame, by the way. We get cycles. Like here we go again. Here it comes again. It's like we almost prepare for it. So what you really have to do is you have to, like I said, train your nervous system. I would do breath work. I would do, yoga. I would do dancing. I love the dancing because it's different. Um, it's that way, right? See, if you look at the comments, a lot of the people like they resonate because they suffer. They've suffered themselves. So this is not uncommon. You can't have spiritual gifts and intuit it's very strong and think that everything is going to be strong. It's like you wouldn't be here in physical form. Like this earth is not heaven. We're supposed to be learning how to create our heaven on earth, and that's through a certain consciousness, and that's of unconditional love. And so the problem is that when you have blocks where you don't like who you are, well, then that's you're going to be pulling everything that's not really in alignment with your highest good. Your highest good is your true self, and part of you doesn't know who you are because of, again, the environment. If you're so busy in survival, you're not really finding your talents, finding your gifts, knowing what your gifts are. And as we said, you're very sensitive, you're very emotional. I believe part of your thing is to be on the healer's path, but I would say to, like, again, remember, every master starts off as a disaster. So don't tell me no. And it's because, again, you don't even know, but you have to heal yourself. And there's a deep desire to be able to connect with people on a deep soulful level that I don't feel like you have. So joining like holistic communities, taking a few classes, seeing what resonates with you. But I'm telling you, anything connected to the body, I believe that you would be really good at. I just think you have to heal the trauma. And that's the issue. It's like you don't feel confident in your body, and then you don't think people can see that. People are reading your energy all the time. They're reading your body billboard. If you're like this, if you're like this. So again, we can see it. Right. It's hard to get right because you don't feel confident about yourself. But understand that that's why you want to join things, because relationships are something that happen over time. So every week you go to dancing, let's just say, and it's twice a week, and you go and no one's talking to you, don't talk to anyone. And then one day you go there and you're locked out and you're outside with Marianne. Marianne and you wind up talking, and the next week, she still winds up sitting next to you like she's your friend, and then you wind up, oh, talking about the dance class, and you're both horrible. You both have left feet, and you laugh. And relationships, again, the focus is on where am I going? What am I doing? It's not on, oh, I have a friend. I want you to like me. It's more on being connected with people through the things that you love. It's all about growing you strong, and you're not strong. So that we get strong by getting a connection to the physical body and the physical world and all the physical elements of the physical world. That means your money. And that should be no problem because money has no energy except the energy you give it. So I already know that money's hard. And so understand that there's a lack mentality. So abundance comes from, again, becoming yourself. So that's why I'm saying it's like friendships, relationships, is doing art classes too. I feel like you're very creative and you don't really even know it. And you're a deep thinker, so you'd be a great writer. So it's doing what you love to do and losing yourself and doing it so much over and over and over, and then sharing it with the world. Part of you, again, like I said, doesn't know because you don't really invest in yourself. If you don't invest in yourself, no one's going to invest in you. So you have to reparent yourself. When we do shadow work, it is we become aware first and foremost. What is the block? And then, yeah, that's why I said the artist, like that, I could feel it. So it's again, you should be like going out and hitting the pavement and asking people if they want a mural. You should be like doing things that are going to, connect you through what you love to do. It's like, and without feeling like, again, oh, people are judging me, people don't like me, because there's a sense that I feel like you feel that, and you can't feel that unless you were bullied, and that they can't have that at such a young age. And I feel like that kind of happened to you, and that's why the the reoccurring karmic pattern is abandonment, because it's again their shame. I'm not good enough. And God says, you believe that about yourself. I know that you were bullied and like, because again, the energy's there. And that's a root chakra imbalance. Because again, your body billboard. What are you telling people? Are you confident? Yeah, like, I mean, well, it's the energy. And anyone can do this, by the way. It's like when you live, like, it's a psychic, like we're all psychic. We just, the more that you utilize it, the more expansive it becomes, because when you use sentience all the time, which is, oh, I feel, which was you, then you should have claircognizance too, which is, I don't know how I knew that, I just knew. And that's because no one raised you. When no one raises you, God raises you. You get a good connection with spirit. And so there's a sense of needing to get back to that. And that happens through, again, training your body. And that gives you a strong exterior. Then it's about joining things, because you might not even like the class, but you meet your tribe. That's why Spirit always says you need the support. Support in anything is your friends. And there's an island to yourself. You're like, I have a hard time connecting to people. But you wouldn't if you joined things that you liked and that you were good at. You would meet a bunch of people that also felt the same way that you do. And you'd be like, this is crazy. Like, and Spirit says, no, birds of a feather flock together, like goes to like. I'm going to put you and connect you with people that are going to mirror certain things about you. So that's why you're like, oh, I really like Mary Sue, but Mary Sue really fucking pisses me off sometimes. And if the person has the same trait that you do, I didn't think that the body had some. Oh my God, well, it does, because you're only in physical form to learn and to manifest. So everything that's going on inside of you is happening emotionally and psychologically. But how do you navigate your body is, again, your karma. It's what if you're not aware, and part of you's not aware because we're traumatized, and you're walking around with the best way that you have, but with no information. And when I say no information, no spiritual information. So it's like, if you walked into a murder scene and you only had two clues, would you know who killed the butler? No, you'd be like, I don't know. I walked in, the guy had a fucking knife in the back. I don't know. And really, it's you'd say, well, and I saw the maid, I guess, that she was there, but, and maybe the dog, you'd have no information. People get information to, again, make the best assessment. The more information that we have, the better choices we make, which is why it's so important now more than ever, because there's really a war on consciousness. And that's where, again, your spiritual sovereignty is at stake. If you want to be able to create your own heaven on earth, again, you don't want someone to tell you what to think. You don't want anyone you want to be able to do that yourself. You don't want anyone to tell you this is the job that you have to work at. But there's a sense of, when you grow up in that type of environment that you grew up in, it's almost easier. to have someone. And so I believe that that person that were attracted to, you believe that they were stronger than you because of their persona, which by the way was their mask. It wasn't their true self, because this person is really insecure. Anyone that checks out and keeps living in karmic cycles, believe me, they're not confident. So it's about but it's about you understanding why you attract that. Yeah, and we can't live in your head. It's like only in the now do you get divine guidance. Right. And that's again the controlling parents that didn't allow you to have your unfoldment process because of your sensitive nature. They're like, do it. Why is it taking so long? Do it this way. But they had your best interest at hand, believe it or not. It's not that they didn't love you, it's that they were trying to make you strong. Again, I'll just scare it into you, and that's but like I'm gonna force it. And that's how a second chakra imbalance occurs. But we only look at intention, right? That's what God says. I only look at the intention. And if the person meant to do it, what they loved, but they had so much anxiety because they didn't like your process. They didn't trust your process, which is very common with highly sensitive people, because it seems that they take longer to process. And that's because they're taking in all the information and then they're assessing it and they're looking at it from all different angles. So highly sensitive people are actually a lot more thorough, and they are psychic because I took in all the information energetically, emotionally, psychologically, every single which way that you could possibly do it. So that also happens again when we live in survival and your mind doesn't know the difference between psychological and emotional and spiritual. It doesn't know it sees it all as the same. So in order for you to heal, because it's not about does this person care about me, we know that they care because the energy is on, but it doesn't matter if how they're going to treat you is always gonna be in the same manner, because they're not doing any healing. And a lot of times people don't. But we always want to know what the fuck they're gonna do anyway, even if the person's dysfunctional. I always have to fight God on that, because he's like, don't really need to know that information. Yeah, but the inquiring minds want to know. We want to know. Appease us. I don't care if the person's like there's something wrong with him and he's demented. I want to know, is he going to suffer? Is he going to suffer after he made me feel bad? I mean, that's the ego, and spirit says, but listen, we have to satisfy that part, right? I mean, I try and do it in alignment, right? But we always want to know. So what does this person feel? I'm faced with constant reminders of you. And I knew it. And then that's why you're like, I feel this person. And I'm like, yeah. And because that's this person's conscious, I think he thought that he was going to be able to like replace you so easy. Not everybody thinks that you're the cat's meow. That's the thing. And this person really thought they would, and understand when you met them, they were a player. I told you that. And then you confirmed that. So it's like, of course, it's like now that that's why the song goes, you don't know what you got till it's gone. It's like, because, you were high and mighty there. Well, we want to know a little bit more. Well, this is a trigger. But I believe this was for you, and that's dominate. Like this person tended to dominate through their emotions. I think that they also tried to dominate you through your emotions. But I also feel like this person has commitment issues because they're afraid almost to be in a real relationship with someone. It's almost like get screwed or get screwed. And that's the second chakra imbalance. So it's like, I need to control because I don't feel safe. So they have the same kind of issue that you do, because they have the same wound that you do, shame. And so we see That would be accurate, but that card wasn't actually supposed to be in that deck. You are the first thing on my mind when I wake up in the morning. So that's why I'm saying it's like this person just, I believe, is in their ego and they're like, I'm not going to apologize. They're prideful. And see, this is why, like you said, it's when you love someone and that person loves you, there's going to be wounds. The whole point of a relationship is that you bring each other to God, which is unconditional love. You make the person surrender their ego. Right now, this person's in their ego. So you're like, I can feel you, but I don't see you doing anything. And that's why I'm like, is this person going to do anything? I don't want to know about feelings. I mean, we know that, Spirit. It was like, can you tell us, is the person ever going to get off their ass and do anything? And then I'll look at the other cards about like why you attracted this person, even though I just told you. This is part of the ego reading. That it's like, I want to know. The person going to do anything? This is unknown destination, new territory. Okay, so I'm kind of figuring like this person is, believe it or not, trying to figure out how to like get back, because I get maps, right? And maps is all about like trying to figure out, but I don't feel like this person has ever apologized to anybody. I feel like they've always had people come back to them. Their narcissistic ways of controlling is usually, this person emotionally manipulates. So if I show even the least bit of interest, people will call. And even if I don't, people tend to call. That's why they got confident. So I feel like, again, they don't really know. It's like this person is trying to figure it out. Okay, figure it out. And that's what I said. I feel like they don't really know what to do. Oh, great. Thank you so much, Angela. Happening now, the situation or event. So like, I feel like they're thinking about it. Like I said, so they're thinking about it. And I do feel like when a person is thinking a lot and there is an emotional connection, which there is, this is a past life connection. They're trying to manifest you back. There's almost a sense of, I'm hoping you'll call me. I'm hoping you. No, you can't trust him. That's why Spirit doesn't like that I read this part. But it's like, I have to read this part because there was a dust part of herself that also wants to know. But Spirit's like, no, that's why we told you all that stuff, because we don't want you to fall for this person because we know that they haven't done any healing. It's like, again, defensive. See? Yeah, Spirit doesn't like him because he has a big ego. And instead of healing. And the thing is, you keep going through karmic cycles. So you see what you do, and then you don't do anything. Well, you've been warned, because it's like that. And we always tend to be like, I could like see this person sometimes. Like, just, I won't get emotionally attached. And you will get emotionally attached because you're a highly sensitive person. So don't lie to yourself. Joker card. Like, it's almost like Spirit saying she's going to do whatever she wants to do. But it's like you said, I just feel like, that's what it is. Let's see. Like, I feel like this person like doesn't really know what to do. Like I feel like they go back and forth between, I want to call you, I don't want to call you. I want to call you, I don't want to call you. And I get that because it's like a coin toss. And would this person be nice? It's like, it would be a coin toss, but I'm telling you no, because people are creatures of habit. Will this person be nice when they came back? Of course. And then when they get comfortable, they are not nice. And the thing is, you're still the same person. You would need to again join things, have like friends, have like connect, invest in yourself, love yourself. It's like I can guarantee if when this person would come back, you wouldn't even want them because you wouldn't be the same person because experience, life, different people. And then because the thing is, this person is only knows how to treat you a certain way, and people tend to be creatures of habit, and you didn't like the way that they treated you, and they have to actually heal a lot of their behaviorisms on just how they are in a relationship. You can't be in a relationship and checked out. It's like there's no that where the person that they're always with doesn't feel like they're with anyone, and that is a trauma. It's again from your childhood, like I said, and that's why you're attracting that, and that's why Spirit says it's not really like that. It's not no. Like this is again when I ask this is like examine like, and that's the thing. I feel like this person is still strategizing, still in their head, not in their heart, because they don't know any other way. And so it's like this is evaluate, like it's again like really like evaluate like your options. And I feel like that goes for both. It's like this person's not giving you enough, and I don't really see them giving right now, to be honest with you. I see them thinking a lot about you in fantasy world, which is what I said before, but I don't see movement. And the reason why is because this asshole is sitting there and back and forth being like, should I not? He might as well have a daisy that loves me not. I'll do it today, I won't do it tomorrow. Like it's like they're indecisive, and they're indecisive because of their issues. So that's their issues. You either know that you want me or you don't. Like you're gonna sit there and figure it out, and that's not being mean. It's like otherwise, if you don't, the only reason why I say that, because unless a person comes in correct, they'll never give you enough, and then you're gonna constantly be asking and seeing that like you're annoying. Oh, you're so controlling, you're dominating me, where it's like you're not. So that's what I said. I don't see them doing anything right now. What I see them again, like going back and forth. It's like, and I felt like they were trying to get you to come back to them on an energetic, spiritual level, because it's happened before. Yes, they've treated people like shit and had people come back to them, because that's the thing. This person looks for people that they can read don't honor themselves enough. And that could be, again, they know that they don't really give that much, so they tend to stake out that, and possibly to make themselves feel like they have a lot of options. Look how many options I have, but your options are crap, a lot of them. So it's just feeds your ego. So that's why I said that's why this person has never really had to figure out or come back. And part of this is, oh, like, I'd rather just you reach out to me, because it's hard for them to like actually surrender their ego, because if they surrender their ego, then the reality of who they are really they have to look at, and they're not ready to handle it. They don't know what to do. And so it's like that's why Spirit says it's irrelevant whether they come back or not. But I say we always want to know that. I don't care. I need satisfaction. I know when I got readings and when my friend reads me with her cards, I turn around and I want to know those questions. I don't give a fuck. It's like we do the healing work, but I have an ego. I'm sorry. I need to know you're going to suffer. like, especially if you made me suffer. You know what I'm saying? Like, so again, confusion. We ask, why did you attract this person into your life. And we already know because I said it, I channeled it. But when I ask for more information on it, it's like that love is confusing. I feel like just people are confusing that it's, and it is because you don't know who you are. So when you don't really know who you are and you're tapping into people's feelings, people change their feelings like they change their underwear. You know what I mean? Like even more so, to be honest with you, you know? And so if you're tapped in to a person's feelings and you don't feel good about yourself, everything's going to be, is that about me? Are you mad at me? Did I do something? Was I supposed to do something? Was I wrong for saying that? And that's so again, that's why Spirit's saying it's like the confusion is that right? And that doesn't make you look strong. That makes you look weak. And people read that. So we have to change that. That's a habit. Again, the way that you do that through breath work. Because in that breath, you have time to think, right? With a breathe in through the nose, hold it for 4 or 8. Again, you hold it. And then you breathe out slow. On the exhale, that's what shuts your automatic nervous system off. Gets you out of fight, flight, or freeze. Because you get overstimulated. You're like, oh, like, and then it's like, did I do something wrong? Like, again, because you navigated life through what you felt. It's very right brained, but you're not going to get good results all the time. And that's going to make you feel inadequate. Like there's something wrong. And if there's nothing wrong, there's a lack of grounding. There's nothing wrong. You have other gifts from that. Again, there's nothing wrong. Again, protection. You didn't feel safe. I don't know if you can see that. They put that word on the card and someone was like, I can't see it, like in everything. But protection. You didn't feel safe. Nurtured, love. Again, this is child cards. Again, the inner child. So where did this shit come from? It's like I wasn't nurtured. It's like they made me feel as if I was always doing something wrong. They didn't make me, I was so confusing. Like you're my parents, but you're not really making me feel loved. I feel like I'm always doing something wrong. I never feel safe. And that's again, when you have 2 parents that are high achievers, and obviously they were, and they're like, again, not sensitive, but they were sensitive, but they, trained it out of them, banged it out of them. And understand going to school will change that sensitivity. A lot of times, like being in certain environments, you can become unsensitive, right? So just the same way as living in certain environments, you did. So that just living like where you don't feel safe psychologically triggers your nervous system to live in survival mode. So then you get things like adrenal fatigue where you're like, oh, I'm so tired. Right. They were very rational and you weren't. You were a highly sensitive person. And highly sensitive people look at everything. So first of all, you're going to look at everything that's going to piss these people off because, again, people that are very logical are very duh, 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 duh. Like, and they're, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. And here you are, a little kid that's like, in the imagination and all your gifts, they think are crap. It's like, you're not going to make money doing that. Do something else, be something else. And that's again where that second chakra imbalance came from. They had your best interest at hand because they're like, we want you to make a lot of money. We want you to be successful. We want you to be loved. We want you to, and this is the way you're gonna do it because we don't like the way that you're doing it. So we don't trust you. And so that's where the second chakra imbalance came from. And then you're like, now can I trust myself? It's like, and then it's like, oh, you're too in your head. You can't feel your body. Remember, your body is that gut, that intuition, getting that little flutter in your heart. Again, that knowing. highly sensitive people have. It's like you can't feel it because you're again overstimulated. Why you have to recondition your nervous system. It'll bring you to your soul's path. Right now, you're like, I don't feel connected to anything. I feel like I'm broken. Spirit says, yeah, because that's the way you're looking at it. It's like, but if you don't realize that you're down there, it's a school. It's again, you're there to be an expression of unconditional love by doing what you love to help you connect, not just to me, God says, but to every single person on the planet on a deep soulful level. It's again really that's what it is, because that root chakra is all about support, and you give yourself support, but not if you're not grounded in your body, not if you're not interactive in what you're trying to create and meeting new people. Then then nothing's going to happen for you, and you're going to worry like, oh my god, and just get more and more worried, being up in your head, and you're not going to get any knowledge up in your head because your mind is going to be always reflect back to what has happened, what did happen. So the problem with what not being grounded is that you're either in the past or either in the future. So like yeah, well that's like you want to heal your inner child by again, but not just your interactions, by creating yourself, because you have shadows, and those shadows are, I don't like who I am, but spirit says you don't even know who you are. It's again because they told you who you are. So again, what are you judging? It's like so it's about having a love affair with yourself, and that's by joining things that you need. You need to do this for your health, because it's not good either to continually condition your nervous system or always think, is it me? Is it, it's, you want to be able to, always make your life balanced. And so there needs to be time to work out, or that's time to again train your nervous system. And working out does that too, by the way, with weights. When you do that, it trains your nervous system because you learn how to breathe properly. And so, you have to make time for these things. But that's a way that you say, no, I love myself. I'm giving to myself what I never got. I'm reparenting myself. Because the whole healing process isn't just, oh, I know it just happened. It's no, it's like you need to see a different result of your situation, which means you got to go through the fire one more time and do it differently. Otherwise, you wind up back in the karmic loop. And that's what keeps you in a place of it can't happen. So it's about being interactive in your life. That's what's really more important. Friends will come because hey, you like art, you at the exhibit, you're there, and someone brings out a painting, and it's the most hideous thing that you've ever seen in your life, and everyone's sitting around and saying, "Oh, it's a lovely piece of art." Well, there's somebody else there that's like, "Well, you can, it's a piece of shit," and you'd be like, "That's what I was thinking." And then they go, "You want to go for coffee?" It's like relationships just happen. It's like, oh, I vibe. I vibe with you. I like you. We're into the same thing. We happen to be at the same place at the same time, learning things. Relationships come. And it's not about you going out and meeting people and being like, I don't want you to do that. I want you to go out and find yourself first. The friends come after. That's why I'm saying you worry about friends because you haven't healed your childhood wounds from again how your parents treated you. So you're too tapped in to what everybody else thinks, cares about. It's part of your survival. That's what, again, I grew up that way. I can't, if that's who I am. No, that's not who you are. That's the environment that you grew up in. You have to recondition that. What you created in an environment for survival will take you down later. And if you don't like handle the stress, then that's going to be a problem because you're always going to see that there's something wrong with you when there's nothing wrong with you. You have gifts because of that sensitivity. So again, you have to create your own protection. Protection's the first chakra in balance. Protection comes from being strong within yourself and having a good connection with the higher self, which is the God part of self. So you're getting that intuition all the time. It's knowing how to recognize the difference between anxiety and intuition. Intuition comes on randomly out of the blue, and there's always a call to action after, where anxiety doesn't shut the fuck up. It's like, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that, maybe I'll do this. It's like, and there's never a call to action. It's just on and on and on ideas, opposed to, again, and you need to be able to quiet yourself. So again, weren't that way. You never felt safe growing up. You didn't feel safe. Your parents are supposed to protect you, not make you feel not safe. That would obviously be confusing, because it's like, I can't trust myself and I don't know why my life looks the way that it does. It's like, and then the truth. Again, I feel like you've always been a truth speaker. That's, again, highly sensitive. That's actually a gift. So not all the time do we find our wounds in those shadows. Sometimes we find our gifts because you didn't develop yourself enough. It's, again, there are still shadows, because if you're busy surviving and trying to please your parents, and you didn't go out and find yourself. And that's why that happens. So first things first, we recondition our nervous system. I've created daily practice because you have a root chakra in balance, and it's like, that means get up in the morning, do a little, meditation, whether that's through yoga. I would do, before I jumped out of bed, I'd actually do the Silva Ultramind method, and that, if you can download it on Audible, and that will get you to be able to train your mind to get to that delta frequency, which is right before it's getting down deep within the meditation. And then it's the Silva Ultramind. It's SIL, yes, Silva method. And do the ESP business. That's what it's called, ESP business mind or something like that. But it's teaches you to get your mind to that level of consciousness. You have to recondition your mind, because your mind chatters too much, which happens when you're not grounded and you get triggered by your anxiety. So you have to do that. That's number one. You also have to train your body. It's, again, because there's disconnect when you don't feel safe for long periods of time. It's like we detach. It's like it doesn't feel good. So that's why you have to do some sort of body and mind when you don't trust yourself. Susie Orman had this great, one of body mind, exercise, but you can do any type, even energy psychology. Look up on YouTube, but it's about reconditioning the automatic behaviorisms of, oh, I don't know why I just did that. I just did, which happens also, like when you don't get along with people or people tend to bully you. It's like, well, it's because you don't seem strong within yourself. And when you don't seem strong within yourself, people are going to not treat you well. That's all that is. It's, again, you create the strength within yourself, and that's by growing you physically, strength, and also mentally. So the Silva Ultramind helps you do that. Then I would go online and go on Facebook and say, what's going on in my community? Do you know what's going on in your community? It's like, you look in the art thing. What's going on? You need to make money? Hit the pavement. It's a sign that there's a root chakra imbalance, that you're not interactive in what you love. Hey, I offer, advertise that's what you do. The art and the other stuff. It's like, I just feel like it's about finding yourself, connecting with people right now. It's not all about finding that relationship or getting that person back. Because if that person comes back, you better be different, because you don't want them to treat you the same exact way. And they can't treat you the same exact way if you are not that same person. It's like you wouldn't even put up with it. And this person would have to treat you differently. I'm going to pull one more. Um, I feel like, again, here's another gift, optimism. So it's like that you tend to be a positive person. So, and that is where faith comes from. So, again, faith is the bridge that connects you to what is reaped, to what is sown. You have to, again, just set yourself up for success right now. The other things will come. But if you're not strong within yourself, every relationship's going to be difficult. And that's traumatizing. Like I said, the relationships happen. Trust me, I worked at healing centers with some of the most craziest people ever. I have one friend that every day she's getting a divorce from her husband, and she's crazy. And she's a psychic, like she's a spiritualist. Like I said, I always say, if people followed you around, and she's like every day she gets triggered. So understand, everybody has wounds. You want to be, again, strong. My point of sharing that about my friend that I met in the healing center is that she met me when I was crazy, and we have another friend that's crazy, but we all resonated. Our energies always resonated. And that's the thing. You meet your tribe, because a lot of times when you try and just go out and find your tribe, that's not going to happen. It's like you when you have a lot of wounds. It's like, well, that's what it is, and that's what therapy, I believe, should be. It's like if people knew, well, what do you think? Well, what do you think? Well, what do you think? If I knew what the fuck I was thinking, or like it's again, I wouldn't be here, would I? It's like I need answers of why things are the way that they are, and understand that was my story, because my father had cancer 9 times. My mother tried to kill me several times. Like goes to like. My gift comes from living in survival mode. Clairsentience that became claircognizance. So I like my left brain doesn't really even work, to be honest with you. I have sluggish cognitive tempo. It's almost impossible for me to learn in school. That was an embarrassment. That's why my mother did what he did, because it's, again, like I was called a retard, even though I'm not a retard. Like, understand, back in the 70s, they didn't know what to do with children like me. So I had that, but then it was also survival. So I don't know whether living in such imbalance created that, or whether I, again, just was born with it. But nevertheless, it's I live by that side of the brain. So all my spiritual blocks are root chakra imbalances too. It's like, and that's the thing. It's like, yeah, my dad was the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. He skipped grades in school. He was brilliant, but he married a narcissist, and he hated himself, and he drank. And that's what gave him the cancer. And he never stood up for himself. And so spiritual issues that are psychological and emotional, when you ignore them, they turn into cancer. I mean, again, how else do we learn? And my father never learned. My father also had 2 back surgeries, an upper and lower back surgery, and 2 hip replacements. So everything. And he had rheumatoid arthritis, that his hands were like this, bone over bone. So again, survival, all that acid running through your bloodstream, acidity, constitution is what creates it. Well, clairaudience, a lot of times, like if you are highly sensitive, you'll get those things. It's like living in survival mode for long periods of time creates that sensitivity. And so sensitivity, this energy that's all around us, being able to read it, be able to hear it. And people might be like, oh, I've never heard it. Listen, you hear it inside. Understand? Oh, I'm so glad that it's helped you, you know? I mean, that's what it's about. It's all about healing so that you can see a different version of yourself so you can again attract what you're supposed to in your life. There's not one person. I'm so glad that it did. You know, I'm so sad that once this chat is over, I think that every all these messages go away. It's like I'd like to draw attention to the to the channel because it's relatively new and the readings are different. So I appreciate the feedback. Thank you, Kiki. I'm glad that it did. Like that's because it's not a tarot card, and I would always say, but it's not a tarot card reading. So I came out with a new Oracle deck. I can't wait till it's here to show you guys. It is a shadow healing deck. And it comes with a workbook that has over 100 different shadow healing exercises in it. Teaches you how to do psychic readings as well as spiritual healings. And that's, it's a tool, and it's a tool to help you dig deep within inside of yourself, because shadow healing is not a one and done thing. It's like I started up a shadow healing coaching program for my other channels that's been very successful. And we do not just shadow healing. Yesterday I wound up doing some psychic development. They were asking, hey, we want to do some psychic development, because it really is all tied in together, believe it or not. Because every time that you do healing for trauma, you have to again do a lot of self-awareness. You really have to utilize your senses. So I think that my assistant set it up on this channel. You might want to check it out. If you're someone that suffers from, trauma and feels like I just can't make my life work. For $7.99, we do all different types of exercises, but we do not just shadow healing exercises. We do oracle readings, obviously, as well, but we always end with a healing modality, whether that's EFT, NLP, whether that's breath work. There's many different types of breath work, because it's not a one size fits all. One breath work for you. Listen, no breath work works for me unless I'm doing like a box breath. It's like can't do the other breath. It's like, and that's because I lived in survival for long periods of time. So my nervous system gets crazy. So I really have to again, train it. Habit. You can recondition. The body and mind are made to be self-healing organisms. You can heal yourself. You check it out. I think that we signed it up on this channel. If not, you have my email, because we were back and forth forever because I kept screwing up the time, and I'll send you the link, so that, on Patreon, because it's how else are you going to be consistent? No one's consistent doing shadow work, and it's not really fun to dig deep. It's fun when you're doing it this way, because you get to do the readings and you get to see what that person thinks and all that. And then, but you're actually doing stuff for yourself that's actually healing. So does anyone have any questions for me? If not, I gotta run, because as you know, my husband's sick right now. You want to talk about how the universe gives you what you need to help you support. You said that you had a grounding problem. I had a major grounding problem because of how I grew up. And my husband has been hit by a cab, run over. Yes. He's had COVID, where he has had a blood clot, where it was something like 12 surgeries. and now he's in hospice. So it's like God's like, you're going to ground, bitch, one way or the other. You're going to get in your body. See, I wouldn't probably do it for myself. I do it for love. And you'd be the same exact way. So understand the universe will always conspire to bring you everything that you need. And when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So don't never worry about how is it going to happen, because that's not up to you. It's a co-creation process. You wouldn't be led to things that you need healing in. Again, that's how it's done. Spirit brings you to things that you need healing in order for you to be successful on your path. So you enjoy the actual process. So don't judge the process. And remember, the last thing I'll tell you all is everything's in divine order. Never say, oh, it should have happened. I'm late. This person ruined me. Not possible. Only we stop us from succeeding. It's that either emotionally we get in our own way, we sabotage ourselves. So understand. Thank you so much, Kiki. I'm glad that you guys are here for me during this time, because let me tell you, your mind can't be in two places at one time, so being here with you guys is healing for me, because then I don't have to think about that kind of stuff. And that is the key. Transmutation is to be able to integrate difficult energy, because we all go through experiences, and in order to really move through them, we have to integrate. Thank you so much. It's like I married someone older than me too, so it's like I always knew it was going to happen, but I just didn't foresee it happening. Like, I always knew that it was going to happen, but I just thought, I don't know, you always think it's going to look different, but I guess it's never good. It's never good. We lie to ourselves. Like, maybe if it just happened and I didn't know that it was going to happen, it would be better, It's like, but now that it's like almost like your mind can't help but to think. But I've learned your mind can't be in two places at one time. You got to put the energy out there into different vehicles and have the support, so that when that life comes to an end, that you're already in your new life. And that's how it's done. Otherwise, you can't get through things. That's the poem Footprints, where God says, those were my footprints. I got you through your passion, through the loves of your life, other areas of your life. So like I said, to show you that you're always supported. But I'm going to run. Love you guys. Thank you. Definitely check out my shadow healing coaching program. You have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And I'll see you all soon. Mwah. When is this right? We can predict that. Let go of control. Yeah, exactly. Anytime, Kelly. Thanks for being patient with me. Appreciate you. Bye, guys.